What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Alaskan Nightmare, back with another episode of Slashily Ever After, featuring yours truly and Giza Britanniza. Say hello, Giza Britanniza.
Hi.
We're back, and we have a confession, okay? We lied to you. We lied to you. Last week, we told you that we were going to talk about Sinners. We told you we were going to watch Friendship. We told you we were going to watch Home Sweet Home. We are not prepared to do any of those things.
I forgot about Home Sweet Home.
Yeah. That's
Whoops.
not really your thing. It's my thing to be like, this is what I'm going to do. So we didn't watch Friendship, and we didn't watch Home Sweet Home, and we didn't rewatch Sinners. We had a lot going on professionally, personally, yada, yada. But we did come up with an amazing alternative plan, and we're really excited to tell you about it. So what we did is, because there was a lot of hype about Fear Street Prom Queen coming out last month, and I watched the original Fear Street 1994 way back when it first came out. Brittany had never watched any of it. Been on my bucket list of like things to watch for a while. So I was like, you know what, babe, let's call an audible, watch the Fear Street series, talk about it. Does that sound good?
I mean, Father's Day, you can do whatever you want.
It's Father's Day episode. It's my episode. In fact, you know what we're going to do? Instead of talking about Fear Street, we're going to talk about World War II history. Captain. No, it's not real. No, we're not doing that. That's dumb. Oh, we watched all these movies. We got to talk about them.
Yeah.
So very exciting stuff, though. We will get to the things that we talked about. Friendship eventually. It will come to streaming. We'll just watch it there. What is it? Legacy of Chuck? What is it? Something of Chuck? History of Chuck? Legacy of Chuck?
There's a new movie
coming. The new A24 Chuck movie. It just came out. So we will watch that this week.
Isn't that a Stephen King book? There's like 2 Stephen King things coming out.
Maybe.
That one and then the Long Walk.
Yeah, Long Walk is coming.
I think they're both. I think this is also Stephen King, because I remember when I saw the preview. I was like, babe, it's Mike Flanagan and Stephen King and like a bunch of random, like Nick Offerman's in it, like all this other stuff.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
It is the life of Chuck. It is a life-affirming, genre-bending story based on Stephen King's novella about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of really big names in that. So I'm really excited. Yeah,
we'll see it this week. If Friendship's still around, maybe we'll try and get that banged out too. I don't know. We'll see. It should be in streaming any minute now, though, right? Anyways, all I'm saying is just notifications on. Pay attention to the Twitter, pay attention to the Instagram. We'll keep you guys updated. But for right now, lots coming up. Lots of exciting things happening in gaming. New Five Nights at Freddy's game just came out, which is going to be uploaded to my YouTube on Monday. And then the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter is coming out on DVD, which I'll be streaming both on Twitch and Kick, YouTube and TikTok. There's a lot going on in gaming right now, but this is a horror movie podcast, so let's start talking about some horror movies, and we're going to start with Fear Street Part 1, 1994.
Yes. So when I was finding all these, they came out like one week after another. So that's kind of cool. So you couldn't binge watch it.
No.
So much, but we did. So
Yeah.
Fear Street Part 1, 1994. It's an hour 47 minutes. Its release date was July 2nd, 2021. Tagline is Face the Evil. So after a series of brutal slayings, a teen and her friends take on an evil force that's plagued their notorious town for centuries.
So I watched this one when it first came out. I remember kind of being unimpressed. This was like 4 years ago. I don't know what was going on. This was like another life ago, 4 years ago for me. So, but it was
COVID time. I was like, what was happening?
It was like COVID era. Yeah. So I remember watching it, feeling like, this might not be the one for me. And then I didn't really feel compelled to follow up and watch the rest. But when we just rewatched it this week, I was like, okay. I don't know if you've ever seen a film, if you guys can relate to this. Seen a film or a show, and you've seen it before, and you like, it's almost like an amnesia dream sort of situation where you can tell you've seen it, but you don't remember any specifics. So it's like, oh yeah. Like anytime something happens, you're like, oh, this is familiar. It's almost like deja vu. That's how I felt watching Fear Street 94. I felt like deja vu. Like I know I've seen it. I know I've experienced this, but it was still pretty fresh. And on second watch, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Nothing.
It's very silly.
So we're going to talk about this a lot as we talk about Fear Street. But Fear Street is slop. It's a lot like kind of in that Final Destination category where it's like you got to take it for what it is. It's based off of R.L. Stine books from like back in the like the 90s. He was like a kids book guy, like teens book guy, right?
Yeah, Goosebumps, Fear Street.
Yeah, so
Dangerous Girls.
So you got to understand that it's not going to win any awards. We're not going to rewrite the. Ari Aster is not directing a Fear Street movie, but at the same time,
actually, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like,
somebody named Lee Janik did the first one.
Lee Janik, got it.
The next Ari Aster, if you will.
Could be, yeah. But overall, it was fun. We will talk about spoilers. So Fear Street 94 was obviously set in 1994, opens in a shopping mall. Really not a whole lot revealed throughout the. One thing you'll notice about the Fear Street series is that you learn a lot more as the movies go on. You
have a lot of questions,
and
they're not all answered until like the very end.
Yeah, the very end.
The first three that came out in 1 week at a time, it's a trilogy, so they all go together.
Right.
So you'll leave the first one with a lot of questions. You'll leave the second one with even more questions. The third one, that will all be answered.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great, man. You nailed it. And then what's awesome is that upon completion of the first film. The second film, so Fear Street 94 is our first film, right? And then Fear Street 1978 is our second film, right? Part 2. But Fear Street 94, 78 picks up where 94 leaves off. Like the characters, the story continues. It's not a straight like this is set in 94, this one's set in 78. Like they overlap.
Yeah.
And so they tell the story of 78. But through the narration of originally of 94, it's a kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I enjoy it.
I really want to look into the books and see if they're anything like that.
Same, yeah.
With the Goosebumps series, we did watch the first season. I don't think there's any specific Goosebumps book. I could be totally wrong. I don't think there's a specific Goosebumps book that's based on that season. But I think it's the concept of Goosebumps. So I'm curious if Fear Street is actually like the straight up story or just the concept of whatever he did.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. You do that research and then you can tell me, and then we can decide. And we'll buy the books if they have books.
Yeah.
I like the stories. So why don't we just do this? We'll go and we'll talk about 78, and then we'll talk about 1666, and then we'll just talk about them all together and give our overall
Well,
thoughts.
I will say one thing about 94. It was a different time. We were all there. But they like stole an ambulance. And no one ever stopped them, which I had a hard time believing.
Yeah, so
we don't have to talk about everything, but that one is specific to 94.
That's fair. Yeah, we can talk about our grievances. Okay, so for 94, again, and this is a recurring theme, the suspension of disbelief. We called it slop for a reason. Like suspension of disbelief is pretty rough. Like you'll notice in the first film, and a recurring theme, where are the parents in these movies? Like where are the adults? Because your title character in 94 and her little brother, you never see their parents. Like, their parents don't exist. And there's basically one section of the film. Well, no, there's a couple sections of the film where like parents are even shown, and it's literally only to further the story arc of the disapproving mother.
Yeah.
Like they have a disapproving mother pops up in a couple of the movies.
Like there's clearly an adult driving a school bus.
Yeah.
There's adults at the hospital.
Right.
But you don't actually like really see
these
people.
Well, wait, no. If we're gonna stick to 94, spoilers. The adult driving the school bus just lets the things happen. Like so, if there's a scene very early in Fear Street 94 where they're in the school bus and the rival school Sunnyvale is behind, and it's like the love interest of the title character is in the car with the bullies from Sunnyvale, and they're tailing the bus, and so they're throwing bottles at this bus. They're hurling glass bottles at a bus, and I don't know if you guys had bus drivers growing up, but our bus driver would stop the bus if somebody shot like a rubber band.
Yeah.
And they're hurling glass bottles at this bus. And that bus driver's just punching it. He don't
whatever.
He gives no hoots. He's
like
pumping it, dude.
My bus driver was the shit. Miss Artist would not have let that happen.
Miss Artist sounds like a gamer.
Miss Artist, she was awesome. I loved her.
She sounds badass.
She was my school bus driver from when I was like 11 to 10 until I could drive.
Wow.
So small town.
Yeah, it's small town.
But she would have never been okay with that. I feel like she would have slammed on the brakes and then gone out there to beat up whoever was like throwing glass bottles.
Straight up rip the ear off, right? So they're throwing these glass bottles. And so to retaliate, the Shady Side kids open the back of the bus to throw stuff at them. And then they end up opening a bottle of like a thing of Gatorade, like a big chug jug of Gatorade to throw out. All this happening, the bus driver is doing his thing, doing a thing. They don't give a hoot.
The thing is, they don't show the bus driver. Like, you don't see him just doing his thing.
No.
But you have to assume that's what's happening.
Unfortunately, we're adults with brains, and we're like, well, what is happening with the bus driver? Like, this, and a suspension of disbelief in horror especially is not the biggest deal, but then it's at the same time, you're like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So, Gatorade jug gets chucked, car crashes, people almost die, right? Surely this is where the parents will come. No
parents.
Nope. Cops are interviewing children.
Yeah.
Directly.
With no parents.
And just let them go. Anyways, recurring theme throughout the film.
There's no parents. I think we should probably talk just briefly about what the movie is, because then that makes sense going into the next one.
Yeah, sounds good. You want to break it down?
Sure. Yeah. So it's about teenager rival schools, Shadyside, Sunnyside. Sunnyside always. Sunnyvale. Damn it. Sunnyvale.
It's okay. I'm here for you.
Sunnyvale always. It's like all the rich, popular kids. Everything good happens to them. Shadyside, all these cursed kids. There's been like a history of like these horrible massacres happening like every couple decades. You know, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that.
No, we'll talk about the movie, but I think you're right. It's really important to shine a light on like the universe that this exists in, because you got the two rival towns, Sunnyvale, like she said, rich, affluent. Everyone is just happy, and you got the brothers who are like the mayor and the sheriff, and everybody's just la 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 la. And then Shadyside is just a nightmare, just trash.
It's like where we live.
Yeah, it's like our neighborhood here. We live in Shadyside. The story is it's complex and it's great, and and the thing is they drip feed it to you throughout the 3 movies. So like you start to learn more and more. We've kind of touched on this at the beginning. It's hard to talk about it with spoilers because if you haven't seen it, you won't really get it. Yeah. So maybe we just reel it back a little bit and say, Fear Street 94, love triangle, not love triangle, love, conflicted love.
Conflicted love. Teenage love.
Teenage drama. Conflicting schools. Sunnyvale rules. Shadyside Sag. Endgame is in completion, they think that they've defeated this evil, and then it turns out that the evil goes a lot deeper than they thought. So they have to reach out to someone who was a survivor of the massacre in Fear Street, 1978.
It is a chick from I almost said the Hunger Games, from Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah. It's Mad Max from Stranger Things, almost playing the exact same character.
Right. She didn't have to stretch very far.
She did not have to stretch her acting chops. That's true.
Fear Street Part 2, 1978, an hour and 49 minutes, rated R, came out July 9th, 2021, so just a week after. Tagline is Find the Truth. In 1978, 2 rival groups at Camp Nightwing must band together to solve a terrifying mystery when horrors from their town's history come alive.
Right, so now we start to get a little bit more information. We start to learn more. So ultimately, in the completion of 94, we're starting to find out that this is all the working of some witch named Sarah Fear, F-I-E-R, Fear Street, LMAO. And so now we're learning more about the history of Sarah Fear, starting in 1978. This one was really fun. It's definitely, so you can see that they kind of like, and we'll touch on in the 3rd movie. They have like,
I'm so sorry.
They're like, what happened?
My phone just like crashed.
Oh hell yeah, that'll be good.
They definitely heard that one.
That'll be a good edit. All right, so Fear Street 94 is your classic like 90s slasher. Like, guy it's the ghost face mask. The guy's, bumbling and stabbing with knives. And, there's a couple of massacre situations. So Fear Street 78 is like your classic summer camp slasher. And so you got the 2. So of course, as per the theme, Sunnyvale and Shadyside both go to the same camp. And they have blue and red, and they're on opposite sides. And the big culmination of the summer camp is like the capture the flag, or it's not capture the flag, but what is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it like capture the flag? Yeah. And so all this is happening, but then like under the surface, we're learning more about Sarah Fear and her influence on these kids. And then of course, because it's Shadyside, there's going to be another massacre, and the massacre does take place. And it's a neat one. And I really do think that it's crazy that these movies were a week apart. So they've kind of filmed them together, but this one was such a massive step up from the first one, in my opinion. Although See, with the series, it's such a strange series, and I think it's one that's gonna like continue to stay with me and become one of my favorites because like you kind of need that first film for the second one to be so good, and then like each film kind of has its place. And I think the first film is a lot better once you've seen the third film. You can go all back to the beginning and like really understand what's happening because you, without spoiling anything too hard, because we're doing spoilers, but we don't need to. If you haven't seen it, watching the third film and the culmination of the story, the finish of the story, makes you have to watch the first one through an entirely different lens, which is kind of awesome, I think. So
once again, there's no adults in this film.
No, the adults don't exist. This is a summer camp.
I don't think there's any adult until the very end when
the nurse,
the nurse is the
nurse
only
lady
adult.
who attempts murder. By the way, spoilers. Like, okay,
wow,
so
the one adult
in the house
murder.
attempts murder. Like that's this. These movies rule, though. Okay, I want to say this now. I've been kind of waiting for my moment to say this, but these Fear Street movies are like Goosebumps for adults. Like they're corny like Goosebumps. They're so cheesy, so corny. It's like I honestly think that the target audience is like Goosebumps, Fear Street kids who grew up and they're like, yeah, we want to throw some brutality in here. Because these movies are like sleeper brutal. Like the kill scenes are really violent and like really aggressive and like really, it's not corny at all. But the actual foundation of the movie, the acting, the story, it's all pretty corny. It's very silly. It's very like, again, it feels very like kids booksy. But then they just,
but it's so
but
violent.
then they just cut a dude's friggin' head off, just whap, and then like they stab in the throat, and it's like, oh, this rules. So like, and there's something about it that makes it more endearing, I think, right? Like it's more endearing because like it's so corny, and then they just like throw in chopping somebody's hand off, and they're bleeding everywhere, and they're like, it's just so good. It's really, really, really good slop. So Fear Street 78, awesome follow up, awesome. Like bridge film too. It's like in between. We're rewatching Stranger Things, and we just saw we're in the middle of like season 2, like maybe
halfway.
Season 2, and we started talking about how it's kind of like a weaker season.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite season.
Right, and I was saying like sometimes it's kind of like the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back effect, where it's like it's going to be a little bit of a bridge film, and so it'll be a little bit slower, it'll be a little bit more sad, it'll be a little bit more yada. That is not the case here. Like this is
the first movie's the bridge film.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is not a bridge film. This is like this one just ramps it, and it's like so good, and it's the pacing is incredible, the kills are incredible, the corniness is incredible, the finish is great, and what's great, and we'll talk about it soon, but you still don't know like. The ending of the movie is good, but then now watching the third, you're like, oh, it reveals so much more about the second film. So, which automatically bumps it up again. Like, I'm not kidding you. I'm like surprised how much I'm loving this series. Cause like, I want to rewatch it already. Like I'm like already kind of hyped about it. So Fear Street 94 was good. 78 was great. And now we're going to talk about 1666, which I thought was phenomenal. All right. So take it away.
All right. Fear Street Part 3, 1666, an hour, 54 minutes. I will say this movie felt like it was like 4 hours long, but like in a good way.
Oh, I loved it.
I thought it was much longer than that. And it came out July 16th, 2021, so a week later. End the curse is the tagline. In 1666, a colonial town is gripped by a hysterical witch hunt that has deadly consequences for centuries to come. And it's up to teenagers in 1994 to finally put an end to their town's curse before it's too late.
Right. So
this is the starting point of the curse that you learn about in 1994.
Right. So the overall curse, the entire thing, the Sunnyvale versus Shadyside epic battle started in 1666. And so basically, again, light spoilers, but your main title character at the completion of 1978 kind of gets teleported back. She touches the hand of the witch, the hand bone of the witch. She bleeds on it or touches it or whatever, and gets teleported back. And the film is told through the eyes of Sarah Fear, who is the witch that was originally cursing throughout all the films, but is played through the title character from 94 and 78. So she kind of plays Sarah Fear. She's basically walking through the origin story of the curse. And it's great. It's 10 out of 10. It's super fun. So I've talked about it here before. You guys heard me raving about Knight's War months ago. I'm a big sucker for like
Period pieces.
Period pieces. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Historical
fiction.
Historical nonfiction is fine. Like anything, if it's old, I mean, Sinner is my favorite movie ever. Like I love it. I love when they take us back to old timey stuff. And then this one just nails it, man. It's like super fun. They reuse a lot of the characters from the first two movies as characters from the past. The actors, yeah. They reuse the actors playing their, their ancestors, which corny. Again, who was the school bus driver? Okay, this guy's not going to be a carbon copy 400 years ago, but it's still fun. Like it's fun and it's cool because some of the actors and actresses were very good, and it was nice to revisit them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one was like, okay, so the original 1994 was very 90s, very like 90s slasher. 78 was very summer campy.
Like campy slasher, like Jason, Friday the 13th.
Yeah. 1666 was very dark. It was very like depressing, very sad, very like it's like they really did a good job of making it feel like a period piece, making it feel like a different movie, but the story like remaining consistent. And oh, hello, getting some cat pokes. Yeah, this one was my favorite one by far. I thought it was great. Bonus points go to wrapping it up perfectly, and the swerve being something that I didn't. And again, maybe it's just because I'm dumb. Like I'm not dumb, but like I'm a ditz or whatever. I didn't see it coming, so I was like, "What? No way!" Like the whole thing. And then once they do the big reveal, which I guessed it. I guessed it while we were watching it. I was like, wait a minute.
So there's the big reveal, which none of us knew. And then there was the details in the big reveal. And Doug was spot on about all the details inside of it.
Right. So once the reveal happened, I nailed all three movies. Like I was
single
like,
thing.
this.
Yep.
And then, so could I be biased because I nailed it? Maybe. But also I thought it was great and I love the movies.
Really good.
And yeah, so I'm super hyped. I'm really glad we watched the series. I really think 1666, it's like, it's not often in my experience where like progressively we get better and better and we culminate. And it was like, the first one was good. The second one was great. The last one was amazing. And they all tie together. And then the last one, so 1666 elevates the first two because it makes them more interesting. And it makes you have to look at it through a different lens. So yeah.
Now you want to rewatch it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to rewatch it. And for slop, that's basically like rated R Goosebumps. Wow. I'm just really impressed. I'm impressed. And I loved it.
And now you talk about how much you love it. I have to bring it back down again.
What do you mean?
So I have two more
complaints?
Two more complaints.
Can't wait. Do it.
So the hand bone is a full-on skeletal hand after 300 years of decay. Yeah. And it's still in one solid piece.
The witch hand. That's what
doesn't make any sense.
The witch hand.
The ligaments and the tendons, the bones, they're all gone.
It's not witch. You don't know how witch ligaments. You don't know how witch ligaments work.
Well, based on the end of the movie,
I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're just being negative to be negative.
And then my other thing is CPR is very important. Everybody should be certified or at least know somebody that you spend a lot of time with certified. CPR is super important. If something happens, your number one thing, someone calls the cops, chest compressions. I don't care what happened, chest compressions. But the chest compressions will not bring someone back to life. It will hold them on until EMS arrives.
I'm going to give you that one. Like there are so many situations where they're just like, in the first film in 94, they figure out they have to kill, is it Hannah? Is her name Hannah, I think?
Sam?
Is it Sam? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
They have to kill
They have to kill one of the chicks.
They have to kill the chick, right? And so they give her a bunch of drugs for her to have an overdose, and then they drown her afterwards. And then they do chest compressions, and she comes back.
Yeah,
it's like
she's fine.
It's like you do realize that if you fill someone up with a bunch of drugs to kill them, even if you bring them back they're just gonna die again from the drugs.
They're still gonna have another cardiac arrest.
It was so fun.
So again, they still need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Chest
they also shot her up
on.
with they give her 8 EpiPens, right? Yeah.
EpiPens.
It's like, okay. Like I don't think that's how EpiPens work, dude.
The other thing, in the second movie, this girl is just brutally attacked, bleeding everywhere. Chest compressions aren't gonna bring her back to life.
Yeah, the axe, part of the end, and she's
bleeding everywhere.
To be fair, spoiler warning: the person who saved her was
That's a huge
off.
spoiler.
It's a big spoiler. So if you don't want to know it now, you know, earmuffs. He could have used some of his magic because he was actually the guy behind the whole thing, right? And we find that out in the big reveal in 1666. So maybe he brought her back to life because he still kind of loved her, low-key. Because that's also a recurring theme, is that there's always the main antagonist is always one of the goods, and they always like love somebody they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody good.
Someone who's actually good.
Good is evil.
End of the massive spoilers. My point. CPR is super important. You need to always do it, always know it, but also know that that's not what's going to happen after CPR. They are not coming back to life. They still have to go to the hospital.
True. Barely based.
Thank you.
Okay, so Fear Street 66W. All right, so that is the original Fear Street series, which, again, kind of a masterpiece in slop.
It's so good.
I know.
The story is insane.
It really is. And, like, I guess R.L. Stine still got it, man. Like, that guy, I grew up on that guy. I grew up on his books, and I loved them because, of course, I'm a 90s kid, and I was a big reader. Oh, probably doesn't make sense because I act, but I was a big reader, and I still kind of do.
There's not much you can do in Alaska.
True. Yeah.
But read.
Read books and eat snow. Pretty much what I did.
Snow?
That's pretty much what I did growing up. Yeah. But W series, and I'm excited because obviously the series continues because last month, May 2025, we got Fear Street Prom Queen.
That's a long time in between.
Yep.
But to be fair, they released 3 full-length movies.
Yeah. Back to back to back.
Fear Street Prom Queen, an hour 30 minutes, rated R, of course, released May 23rd, 2025.
For my birthday.
Yeah. Winning just might be the death of you. Who will be voted queen at Shadyside High's 1988 prom? For underdog glory, competition is cutthroat even before someone starts killing off the candidates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this one exists within the same universe as the Fear Street trilogy.
So it's the time frame between the camp and then 94.
Yeah. So it's the time frame between 78 and 94, right? So in between the first and second. It's in 88. Yeah. It's the same high school situation as Sunnyvale and Shadyside, but 100% original story, 100% original characters. There is literally one Easter eggy connection to the first trilogy that happens in this film.
Very end of the movie.
Very, very end of the movie. So a big narrative driver of the film is the vice principal of the high school really wanting to it's of the Shadyside High School really wanting to separate themselves from the horrors of the past. Like we're taking Shadyside in a new direction. We're not doing this thing anymore. No more disasters, no more massacres, nothing. We're moving in a different direction, but you can't stop the top, you know? It's not how it works. But yeah, it was very fun. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I think it gets undue hate. I think a lot of people complained about it.
It's because it's not the same as the first.
Yeah,
the first.
Well, they're going
in
a
totally different.
They're going in a new direction, and
I will say, no adults in the first 3 films. All the adults are in this movie.
Yeah, they do a bunch of adults in this one. Yeah,
lots of adults.
Definitely, tons of adults.
Maybe they got complaints.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, they're like, we need more adult actors to get work. But no, I think that we're not going to talk spoilers, but
because it's too new.
But it was really fun, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I think maybe I'm just like pilled now. Like I just love Fear Street, so I'm like gonna like excuse a lot. There were a lot of complaints I saw online about the ending and about who the antagonists turn out to be, because it's kind of a mystery. This one's not like the first Fear Street trilogy is in your face. Like you right out of the gate, Sarah Fear, witch, slashers coming back from the dead. It's like everything is out in the open. And this one, you're like, ooh, it's a kind of a whodunit style where it's like basically the premise is.
Well, we guessed it.
Huh? We did guess it. We did. And I'm thinking some other people might guess it too. But the premise is basically the Shadyside Prom Queen competition. You got a rebel chick, you got the 4 mean girls, and then you got the bookworm who works at the diner who is, I'm going to break out. I want to be prom queen to do something different. We're going to change
how they think.
Yeah. And then of course her best friend is the punk rock horror Fangoria reading girl. And it's fun. It's stoner girl.
Yeah.
And it's just like a fun little story. It's not Again, they didn't reinvent the wheel, but it definitely has that feel. It's the 80s prom queen feel. Yeah, I liked it.
It's very fun.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a like I said before, it's a breath of fresh air after having 3 intense movies that all connected to each other, and then this one.
Just a fun watch.
Very fun.
Yep.
Like if you want to like dip your toes into like the Fear Street series, but you're like you don't want to dedicate that much time to all those movies, watch this one. And then if you like it, then you can convince yourself to watch the first 3.
Yeah, and it's absolutely like the same. It's got the same vibe. Like it's definitely still like the rated R Goosebumps. It's definitely kind of slob, definitely corny and fun. The kills are still brutal. The narrative is still, or the dialogue is still era appropriate, silly. Yeah, I don't think I have any real complaints about it.
No,
I don't. I think it's just.
I think it was good.
I think that people that are complaining about it kind of wanted them to do a 3-movie saga again, and I don't think that they had it in them. The director of Prom Queen specifically said there's 3 more Fear Street movies coming. Like Netflix has 3 more Fear Street movies like booked. But the director said they think they're done with this one. They think Prom Queen's a one-off. They don't think they're going to make a series out of it. I think that's the right move.
The director of Prom Queen is different than the other ones.
Yeah.
So Lee Janik, I think is what I said, was the first 3. And then this guy, Matt Palmer, is the only one. He only did the one. So
yeah, and he stated specifically he doesn't really think that there's. I mean, they put a little Easter egg in at the end, but he doesn't think that there's any more story to tell here.
No, I think
he wants
it's
to tell
fine.
different stories. So, but again, if they want to chunk out a Fear Street movie every couple of years, that's like just a unique situation within the same universe. Like I'm all for it because this was fun.
What I would like is light spoilers for the first movie. All the different like killers that they've brought in there, if we get their backstories.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
There were a couple. They would do that. They would do the flashback sequences of the murderers that were possessed by Sarah Fear. And there were a couple of them. Like what's the one that was always with the bat, the little kid one.
Yeah, that.
I want to see that guy's story.
I want to see the girl with the Edward. I almost said
Always
Edward Scissor.
hurt the ones you love. That one.
What is that? Yes, that's the one. What is the
Razor blade?
Yes. What
Straight
is
razor?
I'm trying to think of a movie where Johnny Depp, Sweeney Todd. I want to see the Sweeney Todd girl.
Okay. Sweeney Todd. Found it. Yeah, it'd be really fun to see them revisit the backstories. I think they might be trying to avoid over going to the well on the original trilogy. Like they might just be done with that one. They want to tell new stories, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. If Prom Queen doesn't do well, maybe they'll go back to the well in the original trilogy because I know that one did well. But I thought Prom Queen was a W. If I was going to tier them out, if I was going to choose what I thought were the best movies, I would go in reverse order: 1666, 78, 94, and then Prom Queen. But that's not to say I didn't love Prom Queen. I just think that because I was so into the whole overarching story in the first trilogy, like I couldn't put Prom Queen over any of them. But I would rewatch Prom Queen today.
Yeah.
Like I'd rewatch it right now. It's fun. I liked it.
I would do 78, 66, 1666, 94, Prom Queen.
That makes sense.
So just switching 2 and 3.
Yeah. 78 was really, really good. I do agree. It was right there on the
But
edge.
they're all like we have to pick a first, second, third, fourth, but they're all on the same level of good.
Yep.
Like if it was a tier list, they would all be in the same tier.
Exactly. They'd all be S tier to me. S tier for slop. If we're actually talking like objective, they're probably like B tier. Like objectively, movie wise.
But again, they're all on the same level.
Agreed. So yeah.
They're all good.
So for all that, if you fast forward it to the end just to get our thoughts, watch all the Fear Street movies. They rule. Huge fans.
Yep.
In this house.
If you're on the fence, start with Prom Queen.
Yep.
If you're like, I'm going full force, just start 94 and work your way through.
Agreed. Yeah.
That's what we did.
And yeah, you can watch Prom Queen without seeing the original trilogy and you really don't miss anything. You will miss out on like one 5-second scene right at the very end of the movie where you're like, oh, unless we miss stuff. We might have missed stuff, like references and stuff.
That's true. I don't think
so either. I was pretty locked in, man. Like I don't
think there was much. If it was very, very minimal. Yep.
But just like she said, if you're on the fence, check out Prom Queen. If you have fun with Prom Queen, you're gonna love the first trilogy. If you think if you hate Prom Queen, you think it's crap, you probably won't want to waste time.
Don't want to waste your time. Yeah.
So on that note, We're probably going to wrap up here, but it has been so fun talking about Fear Street. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next week.
Nope, we're not going to put any plans out there because we're probably going to change them.
Yeah, we could say it right now. And then by next week, we'll be like, we lied again.
We did something else.
Just make sure notifications are on. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you love the podcast.
If you want like a sneak peek, follow the Twitter, because if we go to a movie, we always post which movie we see.
Always. We always do a now seated tweet with both of us tagged and on the Slashily account. So if you follow us anywhere, you'll be... Just keep your eyes on Twitter, because if we see anything new, you'll hear about it. Maybe we'll start tweeting when we watch movies. We could do it now seated at home. We could start doing it at home. That would kind of keep people kind of updated with what we're watching.
I like it. I like the idea.
That way if people are like dead set on seeing the same stuff.
Now watching versus now seated.
Yeah, now watching, and then we can do like the at home movies. And that way it's similar, like, oh, they're finally watching Home Sweet Home. They could watch it too, and then they'll be ready to watch the episode.
That's a great idea.
Thank you. I only have those kind, I feel like.
I know.
You know? So yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, follow us everywhere. We love the podcast. Thank you guys for all the watches on the last episodes. If you guys are looking for content, we got 11 episodes, I think, of the Slashily Ever After podcast. And right now we're working on a little Rolodex that covers what episodes talked about what movies. So if you want to go back and get our thoughts on a movie, you can do that. But last week we talked about Bring Her Back. Very, very good.
And the Ritual,
which was
okay. Dangerous Animals.
We should talk about the Ritual just really quick. Can you?
It's gone down to 7%.
How is it 7% on Rotten Tomatoes? The movie slapped.
Which one of y'all saw it and rated it bad because you didn't like us?
Yeah. Is there reviewers out there in the audience? Explain yourself. Anyways, go watch last week's. Very good. Watch this week's. Make sure you watch next week's. No one told you I love you today. I love you. Stay clean, stay focused, stay off drugs.
And they live Slashily Ever After.
They did.
Bye.